A government ministry in Ghana needed to update its e-services portal. Simple regulatory change. A few lines of code. But when officials opened the system, they discovered something uncomfortable. They did not have access to the source code. It belonged to the foreign contractor that built it. They called the contractor. They waited. 3 months passed. They escalated. The contractor sent a quote, substantial fees for what amounted to a few lines of code. They paid. They waited again. 6 months after the original request, the update was live. This is what vendor lock-in looks like. And this is why Africa's digital sovereignty is still hollow. Across Africa, governments are investing heavily in digital infrastructure, sovereign data centers, national AI strategies, e-government platforms. These projects are framed as steps toward digital independence. But there is a critical and largely unspoken gap between building infrastructure and having the institutional capacity to manage and sustain it. That gap is what this video is about. Researchers Pritchett, Wolcock and Andrews identified a pattern they called the capability trap, where states appear functional but lack the genuine administrative capacity to act effectively. Governments go through the motions of building infrastructure, signing contracts and launching platforms. But without the skilled people and institutional systems to run those investments, the independence they represent is symbolic rather than substantive. In Africa's digital sector, sovereignty is undermined when foreign contractors hold the expertise to run systems that were meant to symbolize independence. Infrastructure investments are consistently outpacing workforce development. We are building faster than we are training. And the gap between the two is where dependency lies. One of the most persistent challenges in Africa's digital transformation is the reliance on external consultants to manage supposedly sovereign systems. The consulting industry has hollowed out state capacity, replacing in-house expertise with outsourced solutions that create dependency rather than resilience. Governments frequently sign contracts for national data centers or government platforms, only to discover that the accompanying maintenance agreements leave them entirely dependent on foreign vendors. Ministries are left with infrastructure they cannot operate, adapt or maintain without external permission and payment. Back to that Ghanaian ministry, 6 months and substantial fees for a few lines of code. That is not an isolated incident. That is the structural reality of Africa's public sector digital landscape. The dominant narrative in digital transformation celebrates the lone programmer, the genius coder, as the symbol of progress. While coding skills are genuinely important, true sovereignty requires a much broader ecosystem of professionals. Procurement officers who understand software licensing. Data privacy lawyers who can enforce protection agreements. System administrators who maintain infrastructure independently. Project managers who document and transfer knowledge. Cybersecurity experts who protect national digital systems. And right now, Africa is not training or retaining nearly enough of them. Africa's digital transformation is constrained by the persistent outflow of skilled professionals to higher-paying markets abroad. Ministries struggle to retain cybersecurity experts and system administrators when private firms offer salaries 5 times higher. But the concept of brain circulation offers a reframe. Diaspora professionals abroad can contribute knowledge, networks and resources back to their home countries through structured programs. The goal is not to stop people leaving. It is to build pathways for them to contribute while they are away. Perhaps the most underreported crisis in Africa's public sector technology landscape is the zombie project problem. These are digital initiatives that exist on paper, appear in annual reports, and were once celebrated at launch, but have quietly stopped functioning in practice. High staff turnover means critical knowledge walks out the door with people. When key individuals depart for better pay or diaspora opportunities, the project collapses. The solution is not loyalty. It is documentation, knowledge transfer protocols, and institutional systems that outlast individuals. So what does a genuine roadmap to digital sovereignty actually look like? 5 priorities. First, train beyond coding, cloud architecture, cybersecurity, procurement negotiation, and digital project management. Second, reform public sector pay through specialized tech pay bands and performance allowances. Third, build structured diaspora programs that transform brain drain into brain circulation. Fourth, demand open standards in procurement, no sovereignty without access to source code. Fifth, invest in institutional memory, as standard practice in every government technology project. Africa's pursuit of digital sovereignty reflects a legitimate and urgent desire to control its technological future. But independence cannot be reduced to infrastructure ownership or policy declarations. Sovereignty is hollow when governments remain dependent on external consultants, suffer from brain drain, or lack institutional memory to sustain what they have built. True independence is built in classrooms, training programs, and institutions that preserve knowledge across generations. Sovereignty is competence, the ability to manage, adapt, and sustain technology without external dependency. You cannot declare your way to digital independence. You have to build the capacity to sustain it.